So, you have to teach in a classroom that doesn't have a projector, and you would still like to do presentations with your students. Well, Nearpod is probably your best way to do this for free. So if you've never used Nearpod before, you can press sign up for free, or you can press sign in. When you sign in or when you sign up, the best idea is probably to sign in with your Google. So right here where it says log in with Google, that's usually your best way to go. And then you can pick your ISD 742 account, and you should be all set to start making awesome presentations with Nearpod. So here we go. We're gonna allow students to check out what we're doing on our computers with our presentations, or you can even use this with a PDF or a JPEG picture if you'd like. So we're gonna create our own lesson. You can title your lesson up here, so we're just going to call this Using Nearpod. Now here you can add your own slides, and you can totally make something from scratch, or if you don't want to spend all that time doing that and you've already made some things, you can upload files. So let's say you've made a PowerPoint. You can upload that PowerPoint by using the select local file. So that will take a file off of your computer or off of your flash drive if you have that saved. If you've made Google presentations or saved PowerPoints into Google, you can do that from here. If you have things in Dropbox, you can get your files from OneDrive into Nearpod right here. So those are a lot of the options that people generally use. I'm going to use the Google Drive feature because most of the presentations I would use would come right out of Google Drive. So I'm going to take this Nearpod presentation I just threw together here as an example. And what it's going to do is Nearpod is going to process the slides that are already in that presentation and make it work with their system. And then in just a second, it should show up. There we are. So this one only has 3 slides. I can see what it would look like to students if I press preview, so you can see the different parts. You can add some other cool stuff from Nearpod. So let's say we wanted to add a slide. We can add a few things. Let's check out this content. Some of these are things that you can only do if you have the premium subscription. For instance, Field Trip Nearpod VR is probably not available to you, but if you're just signing in, you probably get a free trial of that. Anything on Nearpod 3D, you can put into any of your presentations. So there's some kind of interesting things you could put in there. Great white shark, a lion, all kinds of good stuff here. Here we'll put a shark into this presentation. Okay. There's other things that you can put in to make it even more interactive. You can add an activity. So you could add a quiz. You could have students draw. This one's kind of cool because it allows your students to enter a topic and kind of basically make like a little collaboration. So that's a pretty cool little feature. You can also add some other things. You can add a poll. You can have them fill in the blanks. You can have them test their memory. Lots of good things. So let's say, or an open-ended question. So let's say we just want to have them do a quiz. We can write our question here. Our question might be, can Nearpod replace your projector for presentations? And you might have some answer options. You can select your correct answer. You can add more answers. All right, and we're gonna add question. Oh, I kept adding questions. I need to add questions. So yeah, you can have more than one question on here. So if we want to have another question, like question 2 would be, what program is used for students most often at Apollo And so we could have Schoology. We can put Google Classroom. The correct answer for that would be Schoology. All right, so we're going to save that. And it's going to save those 2 questions into a little slide on our presentation. Now we can change the order of these things. So we could put that, we can put the quiz up here after the first slide. We can move the great white shark here to slide number 4. All right, if you want to see what it's going to look like for students, go ahead and press preview, and it's going to generate a preview of your presentation. Okay, so I started it on the great white shark slide, but if I would go back here to the beginning, it might look something like this. And so here's my first slide. Here's my second slide. You as an instructor would be able to start taking the quiz. Interactive lessons. Here is our cool 3D shark, and students would be able to do this on their own computers as well. And then there's my last slide. Okay, when you're done making your presentation, you're going to save and exit. And here's a couple things. So you can set it for grades. You can set the subject. You can put a description in there. So for subject, we'll say other. We're going to save it. All right, so here is the newest one that I just saved. So you have 2 options here when you're ready to present your lesson. You can set it up so it's student-paced, so students can go through it on their own, at their own pace. Or you can set it up as a live lesson. Now, a live lesson, students are not allowed to move through the slides on their own pace. So as you switch the slides, the student devices will switch slides as well. So they work through at the pace that you choose. So if I pick this as a live lesson, it's going to give me a code. So students can either open up a Nearpod app, or they can go to nearpod.com and put in this code. You can also share this link right here, and you could copy that into your Schoology and put that in. So we could go to here, and we can add materials in our Schoology. We can add a file, link, or external tool, and we could add that link to students, and they would be able to access it here. So once you've decided to start the lesson, you are able to get moving. And so now this is what students are going to see on their device. So they would see the slides as you move through them. You have the option to hide student names or show student names. You can move through the slides as quickly or as slowly as you want. If you want to skip ahead, you can definitely do that. So here it's going to say, okay, do I want to share that with students? We do. So now this is what would show up on the student devices. So you no longer need to project your screen above for everybody to look at it. Everybody can see what you are doing on their own device. Enjoy.